Hi, I'm Kesenya and welcome to Guiding Star Astrology. I'm your Astro Weather Girl, here with this week's Astro Weather Report. I'm going to show you how the stars are going to affect your life this week. In my videos, I use both Vedic and traditional Western techniques with tropical astrology, not sidereal astrology. I also use the traditional system of whole sign astrology for my analysis. You can use this video to the best of your advantage by listening to the introduction to understand what the week holds for you, and then going to the timestamps for your sun, moon, and rising sign to get a more personalized forecast for the week ahead. Astrology is not designed to scare you. It's designed to give you information so that you know what the good and the challenging energies in the week ahead will be, and you can therefore consciously work with them to the best of your advantage. Remember, knowledge is power. Now, there are scammers about, and so if you should receive a message from me on any platform requesting your money for a reading, know that it is a scam. Report them immediately. And now settle in and let's see what the astral skies have in store for the week ahead. Well, hello everybody and welcome to this week's Astro Weather. I'm so excited to be with you. Firstly, before we jump right in, I want to remind you to like, share and subscribe to go into the draw to win a solar return reading for the month of February. I announced January's winner at the beginning of last week's Astro Weather Report video, but I've yet to hear from the winner. So if that was you, the winner of the January Solar Return Report, please get in touch and claim your Solar Return Report so you don't miss out on winning your prize. And guys, I have a very special video coming out this week all about relational astrology because, as you're going to find out through this Astro Weather Report, this is a big week for relationships, a big week for love, energy, and it's also Valentine's Day. So this video that's coming out about relationship astrology is particularly focused around the astrology that brought my fiance, David, and I together just in time for Valentine's Day. It's perfect and you're going to love it. And because it's Valentine's Day, I am offering 20% off my love and relationship readings. So 2 weeks only, don't miss out. Head on over to the Guiding Star website and make your purchase of a love and relationship reading. So that video that I just mentioned is coming out a little later this week in time around about Valentine's Day. So I might actually release it when either Mars or Venus conjunct Pluto. So do keep an eye on the channel. You don't want to miss out on that special video coming up this week. And now before I dive into the energies of the week, David and I are so excited about our upcoming trip to Egypt in November. We are thrilled, absolutely thrilled and delighted to see bookings filling up. People keep contacting me and saying, I'm going to meet you, I'm coming, and I'm so excited. Can't wait to get to know everybody who's coming on the trip better, and we're going to share the exploration of this amazing sacred land together with one another. If you would like to join this amazing trip to Egypt, where we're going to be looking at the mythology, the spiritual energy, and the astrology of this glorious place, then you can find out more by visiting the link in the description below. David and I can't wait to lead this tour to Egypt and meet you all. And so now let's jump right in. I'll just grab my little, here it is, my little texter, and away we go. Well, today, my friends, if you're watching this video as soon as it comes out, it is the Chinese New Year, the year of the dragon. Now, I spoke about what that energy looks like in last week's video, and I just want to mention again that it is now the year of the dragon, so we might be observing some energy shifts around that theme that are coming in now for the year ahead. So do check out last week's video if you missed that one. But on the 11th of February, we've got Mercury making a square aspect to Jupiter. So Jupiter is up here in Taurus and Mercury's down here in Aquarius, two fixed signs, and they're making a difficult aspect to one another. But the thing is, when Jupiter is in a harsh aspect, it's not always a bad energy. Jupiter is the great benefic after all. So if you've got some planning to do, then this energy can actually be your friend. Just don't be surprised if you tend to bite off a bit more than you can chew and do more. Like, you're planning to, get through a list a mile long of all the activities you've got to accomplish on this day, and you don't get anywhere near finishing the list because you've bitten off more than you can chew. With your planning, Mercury rules planning. Jupiter is doing more than thinking you can accomplish more than you actually can. So this tricky little square can actually make us rather impractical. It can make us overly optimistic, actually. It can cause us to sort of adopt a dogmatic approach, and that can rub other people around us the wrong way, especially when we start talking about our beliefs and our ethics. So if you have to give a speech or a talk or post some social media information, avoid doing it on this day, because the things that you share or the ideas that you want to get across might be received as dogmatic or received as, overly, overbearing. So keep that in mind. This is on the 11th of February, my friends. But the good things, and there are good things when Jupiter is involved in a square aspect, the good thing is that it will give a positive mindset. It is a wonderful energy for absorbing the diversity of the world, for being curious about life and about, everything around us. So do make sure that you take the time to take in the world and its wonder under this energy, because you'll be in a positive frame of mind to receive new ideas and insights and understandings. Then on the 12th of February, we have Mars down here, leaving Capricorn where it's exalted and moving into the sign of Aquarius. Mars is okay in Aquarius. It's, it's not as powerful as it is in Capricorn, but it does okay. Do you like surprises though? Well, let me just say, this transit of Mars through Aquarius is anything but boring. Our activity section of who we are is well and truly over the tried and true way of dealing with things. We want to take action and we want to do it in new, fresh ways. We're tired of the old dogmatic ways that didn't work. And so we might see people behaving with more originality now, with more independent actions now, going about things their own way. We might see that in our sphere. We might see it in the world at large as well, now that Mars is in Aquarius. Progressive approaches and open-mindedness, they're essential during this transit in the big wide world. If we feel boxed in and if we feel lacking in freedom in any way, this energy, this transit of Mars through Aquarius, is going to cause a feisty rebellion, because Aquarius is the sign of the masses. It's the sign of, standing up for equality, and Mars is the fighter. In this case, the fighter for a just cause for humanity. So, keep an eye on those farmers' protests once again in Europe, because they could really amp up under this Mars energy here. And why don't we all join them? I'm all for it, as we know. 13th of February, so pretty much straight after Mars moves into Aquarius, he's going to make a conjunction with Pluto. And it's not every day that these two tango. Roughly, give or take, it's around every 2 years that these two planets come together. And thank God for that. In the negative, Mars and Pluto can cause conflict. So expect that there could be some clashes, either in your personal life or the sphere that you move in, or on the news and in the world. This is the god of war meeting the god of the underworld. So there could be a lot going on the 12th and 13th of February because of this. There could be hurts and traumas. We might see a lot of self-destructive behaviors coming out and coming to the surface at this time. But a conjunction is a combination of energies that is kind of a mixed bag. It carries some difficulties and some challenges. In this case, a lot of volatility, a lot of passion, a lot of aggression, and violence is quite possible. But we can use this energy for good if we choose, because free will is something we all have access to. So this might bring out our desire to fight for something. Mars is that energy of fighting. Pluto is our passion. In fact, both planets are very passionate. So if we feel like we want to fight for something, let's make sure that that something is worthwhile. Something to do with rebalancing injustices, something honorable, something that we are righteously passionate about. Let's do it. Let's step out and stand up for what is right. Hopefully that's the energy we all embrace during Mars-Pluto conjunction, because if we don't, we could be susceptible, vulnerable to the negative side of this energy. So let's stand up for truth and justice, my friends, and for the rights of people all over the world who need to be heard. Then on the 16th, so a couple of days later, we've got Valentine's Day in the middle there. And on the 16th of February, Venus is going to join Mars here in Aquarius. Venus and Mars are moving very, very close to a conjunction with one another. I'll talk about that a little later this month. But Venus is moving into Aquarius. Now, this is the planet of gentility and sweetness, but she's not in her placid mode at the moment. You know, she is going to be in the feisty feminine. She is actually functioning as the morning star. Why? Because if we have our rising here on the left, as we always do, she rises above the horizon before the sun does, and that makes her the morning star. So Venus moving into Aquarius is one energy, but Venus is currently the morning star, the feisty feminine. We love the morning star energy. All my best friends and my children and my partner, we're all Venus morning star people. So I love that feisty energy. Get ready to rumble, my friends, when Venus is in Aquarius. This is the sign of the open-minded, of the rebellious, of the provocative. And here comes the Venus morning star. Okay, so our approaches to money, our approaches to sensuality, our approaches to love relationships can really take a turn off the beaten path when Venus is in Aquarius as the morning star. Not least of all is the need for a little space and a little freedom expressing because of this as well in our relationships, to all relationships. Venus is the planet of connection and relationship of all sorts. So don't be surprised if you need a little freedom, if you need to assert your own ideas. It's the nature of Venus morning star and here in the sign of Aquarius for the next roughly 2 to 3 weeks. And then we have on the 16th as well, Mercury in a square to Uranus. So Mercury earlier in the week has squared Jupiter, and then Mercury is going to do a bit of a square action to Uranus as Mercury plows on through Aquarius. As you can see, we've got 5 planets in Aquarius this week. Venus, Mars, Pluto, Mercury, and Sun. This is a stellium in Aquarius, giving Aquarius like an overblown energy, if you like. And before I talk about the square from Mercury to Uranus, I want to just say that these conjunctions of that are forming Mars, Venus with Pluto are happening on the degree of the grand conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn that occurred back in 2020. So this is a highly sensitive point in the chart. These conjunctions and this full-on energy in Aquarius is really pointing us to the more Aquarian age themes, the more, desire for equality, the rebalancing of humanity in many, many ways. And the promise of the grand conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn is likely to, be one step ever more closer now because of this energy. But as for Mercury square Uranus, breathe, my friends. This transit can cause nervous reactions like anxiety, worry, tension. Have a plan to navigate those feelings well today. Do breath work, spend some time in nature, do some movement like bike riding or walking or skiing, or even take a little magnesium, because Uranus transits or interactions are always assisted by taking some magnesium. So these are some strategies you might like to employ. Mercury is also news. So Uranus is surprises, and when we've got a combination like this, it can indicate that we might get surprise news under this influence on, as I said, the 16th of February. Unexpected events might upset the apple cart. Unfortunately, this square aspect can mean that the news might be more challenging, or the surprise events might be, catch us a little off guard in a more negative sense. Under this energy, it can also feel like life is rapidly speeding up. And let's face it, life on Earth feels like it really is, not just because I'm getting older either. We can feel like we're on the apple cart, but it's a runaway wagon out of control, you know. Things are going crazy and the apple cart really does get upset. It's a difficult energy. It's a bit like Mercury retrograde, actually, and that being the case, this is not a time for buying new devices on the 16th of February, sending important emails, signing key contracts. Bide your time a day or two if you can, because things are likely to go awry with those sorts of Mercury activities. But I have to say, just to conclude this little section, not all squares are challenging for everyone. Some people might find that they can think outside the box as a result of this combination in a manner that gives spontaneous solutions to problems, some sort of originality or a new twist on an issue. So hopefully it's my prayer that that's how this manifests for everybody watching this video. And finally, the concluding energy of the week is down here. We have Venus conjunct with Pluto. So earlier in the week, it's Mars with Pluto. Later in the week, Venus with Pluto. Wow, this point is really getting activated. It is probably one of the key weeks of the year because of this activation by Pluto with the two lovers of the sky at the point of the grand conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter from 2020. Really powerful. Get ready to move more into the age of Aquarius, my friends. But when Venus conjuncts Pluto, this is like a powerhouse energy, you know, running a close second to that recent Mars-Pluto conjunction. This is an energy, and remember, Venus is in her morning star phase. So get ready for a big dose of emotionalism that feels overwhelming. Romantic and sexual obsession can really peak under this energy. There's undeniable intensity in our sensual interactions with others, also our sensual passions and desires. Pluto is passion and desire, and Venus is our sensuality. So we might not be able to resist that chocolate bar down at the supermarket. You know, Venus is sweet foods. We might not be able to resist because they were just overwhelmed with desire for that beautiful velvet dress we saw in the window of the dress shop the other day. You know, like we are driven by our passions under this energy. I'll also just mention that because, you know, we have this level of undeniable intensity within us, it's going to transform our lives. Get ready, my friends, for the feelings bubbling up within us to push us into a new life even. So you can use this energy to your advantage this week by perhaps addressing some financial or relationship matters that might need renovation. Pluto is the planet of renovation. As we know, the old mythology around Pluto is like that of the phoenix that is burnt down and then rises back up more powerful than ever. And that is what we're looking at with Venus today conjunct with Pluto. Venus is going to look at relationship matters that have felt like they've been burnt down and look for ways to build them back up and rejuvenate them and renovate them and, you know, compost those old relationship matters, because Pluto is composting, so that new flowers can come out of that compost, can bloom from that compost. Financial matters that, you know, you thought like you were going to be poor forever, and that, you know, you'd made some unwise decisions financially that have you know, made life hard for you. This is an energy in the positive where something new can bloom out of that destruction. So very exciting in that regard. And so use this energy to address finances, to work out a new budget, to approach partners where relationship issues need to be resolved. Use this energy for your advantage and make the most of it. So my friends, that is the breakdown of what's happening this week. Now we're going to move through all signs, and we're going to be talking about not just one energy this week. We're going to be talking about the impact for all signs of the Mars conjunction and the Venus conjunction, which we're likely to be feeling all week long for both. So let's make a start, and we're going to start by looking at the first house, which is going to be Aquarius this week. Aquarius rising, Aquarius sun, or Aquarius moon people, I encourage you to look at all three components of your chart. If you're a young woman or a young man, then this energy will be felt very potently for you this week. You know, you will be feeling more intense because Venus rules young women and Mars rules young men. And this is in, if you're watching this this reading, this one is in your first house, if you're an Aquarius person. So if you're a young woman or man, you will feel more intense. Your feelings will be heightened. Your desire nature will be heightened. You might be feeling more physically sexy, you know. You might desire to go put on a sexy red dress, or you might want to wear, you know, your stiletto heels for a change. If you're a guy, you might be wanting to wear like a satin shirt or something that feels good against your skin, because Venus is sensuality, and this is in the house of our appearance. You might be having that shirt buttoned, you know, unbuttoned and feeling really sexy, you know, or a muscle shirt or something that shows off your muscles. Mars is muscles. The first house is our presentation to the world, how we appear. And so for both men and women who have this going on, you're going to want to appear more sexy, and you'll be dressing more sexy. You'll be wanting everybody to notice your physicality and your desirability, your sexiness. So that's one way that this is likely to express. You might have opportunities to dress up and be that way. And if you don't have opportunities out there in the world, then you might like to do so at home with your partner, because you will be feeling the intensity of passion and desire, probably more than any other sign, maybe, you know, except for the people who've got this going on in the 8th house, I would say. So use this energy for fun in that regard, you know, dress up, feel sexy, make sure that you've got that that aura of, you know, feeling gorgeous and really being in your body going on. And that's a really great way to use this energy this week. Taking a risk, I would suggest for our Aquarius friends, can actually also pay off as well. So that might be a risk in initiating something. Mars is taking a risk, and that the power of taking a risk is intensified by Pluto. Pluto empowers whatever it touches, and Mars is taking risks. Here in the first house, it's really about initiating something new. So maybe it's risky to approach somebody and ask them on a date. Well, here's your chance. The energy is behind you this week. Maybe you know, you want to start up some new entrepreneurial business and it feels scary and it feels daunting. Well, this is an energy when you can take those first steps and you can feel empowered and things might start to come together. Risks can actually pay off, especially those where you're initiating something. Now, I mentioned in the intro that this is an energy for rebalancing injustices, but because this is occurring in the first house of you, then it's likely that you are going to want to address injustices that have happened to you. I know the sign is Aquarius, which is all about the masses and everybody out there and humanity, but this is in your house where the focus is on you. And so if there are any injustices in your environment that you've experienced, maybe a boss did you wrong, or, you know, somebody overcharged you for something, or somebody's been, you know, treating you like a doormat or something like that, then this is the chance for you to rectify those injustices. Now, I would encourage you to go about it in as diplomatic, as gentle a way as you can. Avoid those self-destructive kind of actions that sort of burn your bridges and cut people off. Try and address things, you know, amiably if you can. But really, there is great power to rebalance any injustices that are occurring, get my words out, in your life. You're going to really align with the underdog now. You know, like this, the first house is what we align with, what we identify with. And so the combination of Mars and Venus conjunct with Pluto in Aquarius means that you are going to be really feeling the injustices of the world out there. So yes, you're going to address the ones that are applicable to you, but you're going to look at what the farmers are fighting for over in Europe. You're going to look at other injustices around the world where, you know, things are just way out of whack, and you're going to be like, I align with the underdog. I align with the person who's being disadvantaged here. I align with the people. And this can cause you to sort of perhaps take up your own protest, and join a protest march, or speak up in some way, or share your thoughts online. Remember, Aquarius rules the internet, and Mars is going to, vitalize you to want to share, assert yourself in some manner in the world. And I encourage you to do so. Just avoid that Mercury Jupiter square day that I spoke about. But the rest of the week is likely to be a positive week for doing such things. So this is an empowered time for our Aquarius friends. You've got 5 planets in the first house. So there's a tremendous focus now on you asserting yourself, starting new things, how you're presenting to the world around you, and being more motivated. Like, you are going to be revved up to the max. You are in top gear for the month of February, my Aquarius friends. So make the most of it. Get stuff done, initiate new things, put yourself out there. It's all about you this month of February. Thank you, Aquarius. Okay, let's move along to Pisces. Pisces rising, Pisces sun, Pisces moon people. Well, for the Pisces amongst us, we have this intense energy forming in our 12th house. Now, a stellium like this of 5 planets in the 12th house for Pisces people really indicates that there's a focus on our past lives. And, this is where knowing karmic astrology can be helpful. If you have not had a karmic astrology reading, Pisces, I would encourage you to get one done. You can come and get one through me if you'd like, or find somebody else who does. But I'd encourage you to get one done this week, this week or this month of February, when all these planets are in your 12th house of past lives. Because there's such a focus on, who you were in a past life now that's coming to the surface for you to deal with. Maybe there were issues that need to be resolved. Maybe there's good karma that you're going to reap. Whatever it is, something from our past is very prominent now. Very prominent for a reason. Now, I'll give you an example from my chart where I have a Jupiter in square to the nodes. That indicates some Jupiterian theme from past lives is very prominent in this lifetime for me. And that's my whole lifetime long, not just this month. But it's likely, because I have that karmic energy in my natal chart, that this triggering in the house of past lives is going to bring that potential karma to the surface. So that's why I suggest it's helpful to know, Pisces, what your past life indicators are in your chart, because they're the things that are going to come forward in the month of February. But usually the 12th house is a house where it's very difficult, I get my words out there, to get a grasp on things. Very difficult to to feel into what's going on, because it's so connected to the past, and we mightn't be consciously aware. In fact, we very rarely are consciously aware, but we might be feeling strangely passionate, strangely desirous, and we're like, where's this energy coming from? Well, it's probably something from your past coming forward. We might be wanting to take a risk, and we might be feeling a bit obsessive. We might be feeling more sexual than usual. I mean, this is a house of bed pleasures after all, so you might be like really turning it on in the bedroom this week, and I encourage you to use that energy in that way, because that's a positive way to use it. But all of this, like sexuality, desire, risk-taking, sensuality, obsession, it's coming, like I said, from the past, but it's going to be very close to the surface this week, because that's what Venus conjunct Pluto and Mars conjunct Pluto are all about. This is also a house of channelings, visions, intuitive feelings, omens and forebodings. So things that are to do with Venus, Mars, passion, desire, sex, taking a risk, being a bit rebellious, they come to the surface at this time through our intuition, through our visions, through our dreams. So, you might be inspired by some sort of sexual dream that you have, or a dream where you take a risk and it really pays off. Use that energy, use that feeling, grasp that vision, that feeling, that omen, if you like, and allow it to guide you this week, because these things, as I said, are very close to the surface, and often it can be that our higher self, or if you want if you refer to them as, your guides, your angels, past relatives and so forth, can be sending these messages through now to push us forward. So pay attention to your channelings, your intuition, your omens and dreams and so forth. Now, ordinarily, the 12th house is about sleep, fantasy, escapism. With such volatile, obsessive, full-on planets moving through here, making conjunctions with Pluto, I don't think you're going to get good night's sleep. Or if you do, it's going to be full of, like I said, potent dreams and so forth. So usually we would be, escaping into dreamland, but it mightn't come so easily under this energy, because we will be a little bit het up this week. One thing that's a good thing to do, Pisces, is take a break, take a holiday to cope, because you're going to be highly sensitized this week with this energy. So if you can have a day off, if you can take things a bit more slowly, it will help. Just pace yourself. Mars is going to make you want to go, go, go. But I would encourage you just to keep things balanced, or you could burn yourself out and feel exhausted. So it's really about balancing your energy as best you can, and do that, as we all love to do as Pisces people, by, having a bit of an escape. Maybe, spend some time at the beach, or take an afternoon just to read a book with a cup of coffee, whatever floats your boat as a form of escapism and rest for you. Use that to keep things balanced. Otherwise, you could get really out of control with so much energy in the 12th house. So that's what I'm really feeling for Pisces. I've talked about how it might manifest. The other thing that could happen is that, a lot of what's going on in the world might be a bit lost on you, because this is such an intense energy in the 12th house of, where things aren't clear, where things are difficult, like I said, to get a grasp on. And you might be looking around you and wondering why everyone's gone mad. And you're like, what's the deal here? Like, all the intensity out there in the world, Pisces, might feel like unfamiliar to you, and you're looking around with that innocent Pisces gaze, that naivety, like what's wrong with everybody? Why are things so crazy? We can be a little bit out of touch with the motives and the reasons and the energy that's pushing people to extremes that we might observe around us this week. And that's okay. Just go grab that book and that cup of coffee again, and live in your own little Pisces land, and cope as best you can. Thank you, Pisces. Okay. Aries. Oh, I should say for Pisces as well, there could be a lot of things wrapping up this week. And let me go back to Pisces and finish this, because it just occurred to me, this is the 12th house, the house of endings. So I forgot to mention, and I should have done so, that there's so much energy in your 12th house. This February, but particularly the week ahead, could really be a week where things conclude and wrap up. Old ways of doing things, old habits, old ideas, old, paradigms, old self-sabotaging behaviors, you sweep them out the door now. There's so much focus on conclusions, wrapping things up, endings. So I'm excited as a Pisces person, because, we want to... probably more as a Uranian person, I want to move into the new and the fresh. I want to turn over a new leaf and make a new start. But before we can do that, we have to really finish up and conclude and wrap up the old energy and make a clean start and a fresh start going ahead. So we might find, Pisces, that March brings us a lot of new beginnings, especially when the sun moves into your sign. We have a lot of new beginnings, a lot of fresh starts occur. But before that happens, there's a lot of things that Pisces people need to wrap up. And so do what you need to do to finish things up, to conclude old jobs or old places of living or old connections or old friendships that have worn themselves out. Like, do what you need to do to tie up the loose ends, Pisces. It's the energy of completion. Alrighty, now we'll move on to Aries. Aries rising, Aries sun, and Aries moon, people. Well, there is a powerful energy of a stellium, 5 planets, forming this week in your 11th house, my beautiful Aries friends. Now, This is likely to cause you a lot of overwhelming emotionalism when it comes to your interactions with others, your friendships, your networks. You know, you go out and you're socializing and having a drink and with all your mates and everything, and somebody says something and it rubs you the wrong way because you're sensitized more so than usual, my Aries friends. So just watch that Aries volatility and keep it under control. You might also be very sensitized to humanitarian movements and humanitarian causes. You know, the injustices of the world are really going to get you fired up this week. You are so, you know, head up emotionally and passionately about things that affect humanity. So, you know, you might watch a video online about, you know, the economic situation in the world, and you know, really makes you furious. It really gets you, you know, passionate, and you start posting online or sharing videos with people, or you go out there and perhaps join some sort of protest march for something that you're passionate about. That is likely to be a very strong way this manifests for our Aries friends. Just be careful of any self-destructive behaviors that can come forward, especially around the time of Mars with Pluto. This is a house, the 11th house is a house of where we can be profitable and gainful. And you will be willing to take a risk to be profitable and gainful this week. You'll be stepping out of your comfort zone. You'll be wanting to, you know, undertake new things or go to places where you meet new people who can help propel you forward and lift you up, because this is like profitable and gainfulness, and Mars, empowered by Pluto, wants you to take a risk in achieving more profit, in achieving more gainfulness, in growing your networks. So that's likely to be an effect on this. You might find that when it comes to your friendships, you're a bit sort of obsessive about them. Some of you might even find that because Venus is conjunct with Pluto here, you might develop a romantic interest in a friend this week. So that can manifest for some of you watching this as well. Somebody you've thought was just a best buddy, suddenly, you know, you find yourself pashing one night while you're watching a movie on the couch. You know, like there can be that energy that plays out as well. This is the house where we see communal property, or places where big groups gather. And I just want to warn you, Aries, if you are going to places where big groups gather, like a concert hall or a big market square or something like that, just be really careful about your interactions in such places, because there's a lot of volatility in the energy this week. And in those places is where we could see sort of a powder keg effect. So if you're going to attend, you know, big group rallies, as you'll be passionately desirous of doing, just be very, very careful, okay? Just be careful. What else can I say about this? This is the house of dreams and desires, ambitions and wishes. And you might feel like you have to fight for your dreams, fight for your ambitions to fruit this week. Mars is to fight. Pluto is enhancing that energy of needing to fight. You can be feeling very obsessive about whatever it is, whatever goals you have, whatever ambitions that you're heading towards, and you might be like passionately fighting for the right to have those dreams and goals and ambitions. Very, very powerful, and use this energy to your best advantage. I just want to encourage you, don't stomp on other people. Don't use other people to help you climb up that ladder. You know, we all hate it when people walk all over others and lack respect, lack gratitude, lack graciousness in their interactions with other people. You end up with more enemies than not. So in going for your dreams and goals, which you absolutely should, act with politeness as best you can, Aries, with consciousness, so you don't make enemies along the way, because that's the one danger about this. You're going to be so focused on achieving your goals that you stomp all over others, and then they end up bringing you down in the long run. So, my friends, kindness, graciousness, politeness is essential. Keep that at the forefront, and you'll do fine this week with this energy. Taurus rising, Taurus sun, And Taurus moon people. Well, the energy of the Pluto conjunctions with Venus and Mars and the stellium in Aquarius this week is being felt and playing out in your 10th house. This is the house of our parents-in-law. So you might, as well as our father figures. So with a parent-in-law or a father figure, you might find that you are really passionate about something. They push your button, you get angry, and you have this uprising or bubbling of overwhelming emotionalism about something they say or do. Our bosses and authority figures are seen from this sign. And so for forearmed Taurus, usually you're a steady, solid camper, but this week could see you really getting riled up. And when the bull gets riled up, look out, everyone. So be forewarned here with that. There's a lot of passion, a lot of intensity, a lot of emotionalism in the air this week. So it could be from a 10th house figure, or it could be coming from, a career situation where you just get so sensitized or so, passionate. Maybe you're given a new role or a new project to work on in your career, and you just get obsessive about it. You get so full on into it. I mean, that can be a good thing. You can achieve a lot. You can get a lot of work done, and that can be great for your career. Or you can burn your both ends of the candle to the point where your family suffers or your friends miss out on you. Don't be like that. Put your enthusiasm into it, but keep your balance, Taurus. Keep your balance with your friends, your family, and the other important things in your life. 10th house is where we can kind of lose ourselves to our desire to gain respect and success career-wise and out in the world. We want leadership opportunities, we want public approval, we want visibility, and with this energy forming in the 10th house, we can get so obsessive and full on about it that we neglect other important areas, or we stomp all over people to make things happen, to get into that, leadership position. We will backstab, or we will do some underhanded, activity. Don't do that. It will come back to haunt you. Keep things pure. Keep the energy upright, and you won't have any regrets down the track. But there's a tremendous energy focus on the 10th house. So for many people, this is the highest point of inspiration, and a lot of you are going to get inspired this week and develop a new interest or passion in a legacy that you might like to leave the world. What do you want to be known for when you're gone, Taurus? What do you want people to remember you by? Now, that could be something that you accomplish. You might want people to remember you for the film you made or the book you produced, or it might be that you want people to remember you. This is the house of our legacy. Remember you for being gracious and kind and having a lot of hospitality, for being a wonderful father or mother. What do you want to be remembered for? A lot of you are going to get new inspiration around the legacy that you want to achieve in this lifetime. And from this point on, you might find that you are really driven to fulfill that legacy, because this is a powerful combination of energies here. And in fact, for the next 20 years, you're going to have Pluto here giving you passion about creating that legacy and building that worldly reputation that you desire. So what is it? What is it, Taurus, that you desire to be remembered and known for? This is also, like I said, playing out in like our father's energy or our in-laws' energy. They might discover a legacy, or they might even leave a legacy for those that have gone on, that will be coming on after them. They might, your mother-in-law might pull you aside and say, now see that set of china, that's yours when I'm gone. That's my legacy to you, and I want you to keep doing the hospitality that I do every Sunday. I have people around for dinner every Sunday. I want you to keep that legacy going. Your mother-in-law might give you a bit of a whisper that she wants you to carry her legacy on or something. That kind of thing is what I'm talking about. So the final thing is, because Venus and Mars are with Pluto, Pluto is occult interests. You might find that the men and women around you in leadership positions around you suddenly develop an interest in occult activity. You know, they're doing tarot cards at work, or your boss says he went and spoke to an astrologer. So a lot of these people, 10th house people, might be developing some sort of passion or interest in occult activity. Very good. Thank you, Taurus. All right, Gemini rising, Gemini sun, Gemini moon people. The energy that is forming in Aquarius will be impacting your 9th house, Gemini. And this is really powerful because the 9th house is a house of blessing. It trines you, Gemini. And it's a forward trine, not a backwards looking trine, a forwards trine. So it's a very powerful house, the 9th house, because of that. So this house is where the focus of so much energy will be manifesting things. So, you know, it could be that you've been waiting on a visa and it comes through this week because there's an energy focus in the 9th house. You're wanting to relocate to a foreign country. It all starts to go your way now because of this energy, Gemini. This is also, you know, a university opportunity that might form because the energy is so powerful here. But let's look at the Venus and the Mars conjunction with Pluto. This can see you obsessed with somebody from a faraway place. You know, you might be romantically obsessed with somebody you met in a foreign country, or somebody who lives a long way away from you, or someone from a different cultural background to you. So, you know, you might be very desirous and passionate about that person. You might find that you become somehow obsessive. Pluto is obsession, and it's being highly activated this week. You might find that you are obsessive, Gemini, about some sort of study, some level of higher learning. It's a great energy if you've been thinking about studying astrology. It's a great energy to begin that, especially if it involves stepping out of your comfort zone, doing something new and different that you wouldn't ordinarily do. Gemini, I just encourage you, this is a great energy for you to study something new or to begin, you know, to initiate studying something new. If you are a Gemini person looking for your second life partner, this intensity of energy in the 9th house could actually manifest that for you. Now, then you need to have other things happening in your personal chart as well, in terms of progressions and in terms of the perfections, all that sort of stuff, eclipses, blah, blah, blah. But this energy is one of the contributors to an energy momentum around a second life partner coming into your life. It's also the house of your grandchildren. Now, if you're a grandparent, you might be observing your grandchildren, generally speaking, and you might notice that your grandchildren are getting interested in occult things, especially when Venus conjuncts Pluto. You know, that there could be a real interest in tarot or runes or, you know, past life regression work. There could be a real interest in astrology that you observe in your grandchildren. You might also observe that your grandchildren are taking more risks than usual under this influence, or they're getting really passionate and wanting to fight for something honorable. They're getting sort of a righteous passion. So we might be noticing that in our grandchildren's lives. This is the house of our beliefs and our ethics and our morals. And because of our beliefs, because of our ethics, we might be really head up to want to fight for something. Mars is the fighter, Mars is the warrior. And here, I hope for everybody listening to this that the fight that you undertake is for something that is righteous. You know, like you're going to want to stick to your principles and your morals and align with those in order to fight something now. So it can represent positive change that comes from a belief that you hold, you know, or an ethical stance that you have. So in that sense, it's good. It also, Mars conjunct with Pluto gives increased motivation as well. So we are inspired to want to stand up for our beliefs and our morals and our ethics, where maybe in the past we haven't done anything. We've just sort of, you know, live and let live. Well, now we're like, well, you know what? We need to stand up for what's true and what's right and what I believe in. So you're more willing to take action rather than just be passive now. This is the house of our meaning and purpose. It's the house of truth and freedom and liberation. So, of course, we're going to be very passionate, obsessive, and full on about finding our meaning, finding our truth, finding liberation. And if you don't have purpose, if you don't have sort of a meaning for being alive, then this energy, especially for the rest of February, is going to really push you to find some belief, some meaning, some reason for doing what you do in the world, for being here. So in that sense, it could be quite exciting for many Gemini people because they'll discover their purpose. Nothing is more powerful than living a life of purpose and a meaningful life. So I hope that's the case for all our beautiful Geminis watching this video. This is also the 5th house from the 5th. It's one of the houses of good karma. And with so much energy forming here, there is likely to be some sort of manifestation of blessing that occurs in your life this week, potentially going on for the rest of February. Some sort of good karma that comes back to you. Maybe the good karma could be just avoiding a difficult situation. Maybe, you jump in the car to go to work one day and you think, I'll just go this different direction. And then you hear on the radio later there was a big pile up of cars, in the usual route that you took to work, and you decided on that day to go a different direction. That's a blessing. That's a 9th house good karma manifestation. So it could be something like that. So much energy in the house of good karma means that you mightn't even be aware of it, but there's likely to be something that flourishes this week to your favor in some way that is actually a gift from the divine for the good that you've done, either earlier in this life or in past lives. The final thing I want to mention for our Gemini people is that the 9th house is a house of eureka moments, of deep understandings. Those aha, penny drop moments are seen through the 9th house. And so with all this energy forming here in the 9th house, you are likely to have some deep epiphanies, some realizations. Now, I have to say that could be quite challenging for you, because here is Pluto in the 9th house. Pluto is to burn things down. It rips the rug out from under you when Pluto's doing his work. And you might find that everything you believed in before, suddenly you have an epiphany, a penny drop, and it's like, none of that was true. I've been deceived. And there's so many ways we've been deceived as humanity, not just the last 3 years, but over the last 100 years at the very least. You might suddenly realize, oh my God, this and everything you believed in is burnt down. But the good thing about Pluto is there is restoration. So Pluto here being activated so strongly and on the point of the Saturn Jupiter conjunction from 2020 is likely to make you Gemini people see the truth. And you might need to sit with that for a while, but we're going to spend the next 20 years restoring and building up, your beliefs, your ethics, your morals, and, meaning in many senses, because Pluto will tear down, but then he will restore with a new approach that is truer, more liberated, and more real. So quite an interesting time that could occur for you this week as you look around and discover through your typical Gemini curiosity what is true and what is real. Very powerful, Gemini. Thank you, my Gemini friends. Cancer rising, Cancer sun, Cancer moon people. We have here this powerful energy of 5 planets in Aquarius forming in the 8th house. Well, Cancer people, this is like, where do I start? The level of emotional intensity you will experience this week will be off the Richter scale. Like Pluto here in the 8th house of passion, like Pluto's the planet of passion, here in the 8th house of passion. You've got Venus morning star, you've got Mars, the warrior, the fighter, all in this super intense house. I mean, guys, have a strategy. Have a strategy to keep your equilibrium, because many of you Cancer people might be sort of, so overwhelmed with the energy that you get the shakes. Have some magnesium, my friends. Keep your nervous system well cared for. This is a really intense week. Not because things in your external reality are going crazy and bonkers, but just because your energy, Cancer, is so turned on, switched on. The light switch is fully on, high beam this week. So forewarned, forearmed about the level of intensity that this week can bring you, but your motivation, your enthusiasm, wowee, you are on it. Use that energy to sort of, go for it in life. Take a risk, seek positive change, turn your life around. This is the house of 180-degree turns around. If you've been struggling, Cancer, with something in your life, this energy can burn that struggle to the ground and build you back more powerful. And it'll do it in a heartbeat. From one moment you're in XYZ position, and then, you get a text message and boom, you're in the exact opposite position in life. You get some message, some news, some information that changes everything. This is the house of rapid, fast change. And with so much energy here and intensity and passion, my God, this week, wow, hang on to your hats. But taking a risk can pay off under this influence. So, if you need to step out of your comfort zone, if you need to try something new, this week is great for that. For many people, but particularly our Cancer women, watching this, you might find that you become really obsessive about some sort of occult practices. Maybe you're obsessive about astrology. Fantastic if you are. Maybe you become really obsessive about tarot, or maybe this is the house of psychology. You're just doing the biggest, deepest dive into psychology than ever before. You're buying all the self-help books under the sun. You've jumped online and done a Myers-Briggs survey test and blah, blah, blah. You're just full on into it, and that's 8th house things. Now, that's particularly for women when Venus conjuncts Pluto. Young men might also feel this too earlier in the week when Mars makes a conjunction with Pluto in this house as well. The 8th house has to do with our external sources of assistance. And so it could be that you are empowered. If you're not a young man or a woman, you are empowered this week by young men or young women. Maybe some young woman gives you a chance to do something that you never thought you'd do. Maybe some young man inspires you, to find some emotional healing in some way. So young men and young women, Mars, Venus, could be a source of positive change in your life this week, and give you some sort of assistance. Now, that could be any type of support we receive from other people: moral support, emotional support, physical support, financial support, material goods, inheritances, wills, payouts, windfalls. Young men and young women are likely to empower you through those mechanisms. So that could be very interesting to see play out for many of our Cancer people. For example, if you're going for a job or something, maybe some young man gives you a chance to step into a role that you've never had an opportunity to work in before, and fantastic. There's the manifestation. Maybe, some young woman invites you to join her team of, whatever they're doing or promoting or working with, and it helps boost you in some way. This is what we receive from others, and in this case, we're looking at blessings and bonuses in life. This is also how the house of how we share our resources, how we share our talents, how we share our valuables with other people. And with so much energy here, you're going to be very enthused and passionate about sharing your talents. You're going to really want to put your talents out there for everybody to see. So if you're somebody who's just sort of twiddled your thumbs passively in the background, then that's going to come to a conclusion this week, because you're going to be like, no, let me step up and take the limelight. Maybe that's not usually your style, but this energy can help you to want to share your capacity, share maybe your money. You might want to share your abilities, your knowledge, your valuables in some way with other people. This is also the house of the mystics and the shamans, the psychologists, the surgeons, the astrologers. So you might have an encounter with somebody who works in an 8th house field this week that is very transformative. You know, you might find that, you know, you speak to an astrologer and my God, it changes your life. Or you listen to Kesenya and David's video all about the astrology of how they met on the 14th of this month. And it changes your perspective on everything. It transforms you. It gives you hope. It lifts you up after feeling low, you know. So you could be inspired. You can experience some sort of fast change or renewal or personal renovation of the soul through somebody who practices the things that I said, some sort of astrology or, you know, Reiki or shamanism or something like that. So some sort of initiation of a spiritual variety can occur. You know, this is, it's a house of the dark nights of the soul. Now, let's face it, the 8th house is a difficult, malefic house. So it is a house of the dark nights of the soul. It's a house of crisis, but it's out of these difficult experiences that we are initiated into greater consciousness. That's what a spiritual initiation is. We realize something, or we, you know, have an epiphany, or we go through some difficulty and it makes us wiser, stronger, gives us new perspective. So for Cancer people, that can be the case. Yes, you can receive blessing out the other side of this, but it might come, you know, the gifts of the 8th house but will be coming after some sort of difficult experience. Maybe you've been out of work for ages and then someone offers you a job. And that's, you know, a difficult, dark crisis experience where blessing then follows on. So that's the kind of thing that can happen. But, you know, usually that blessing will come for you Cancer people after some sort of dark night of the soul that will help you rise into greater understanding and a greater level of consciousness. So that's, yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention, and how could I forget this? With Venus, Pluto, and Mars in your 8th house, Cancer people, hang on to your hats regarding sexuality. It is, I mean, wow. You know, if you're in a partnership and you have intimate relations with someone, it is going to be so exciting this week. And this is a week when your level of obsession or desire or passion is going to be really high. I would encourage you, Cancer friends, to look into Tantra and using this high level of sexual energy that's going to be present for the greater good, your personal greater growth and spiritual awareness, as well as, you know, Tantra activities that lift the level of consciousness on the planet. Please do, Cancer. We could all use a bit of sex magic to bring about good things on the planet right now. And my God, you're going to be totally into that. So much focus on your 8th house, so much passion and desire in the 8th house. Sex is all about it this week for Cancer. The one thing that could happen, though, in sort of a shadow side of this energy is that intimacy issues might crop up where you've been frustrated sexually, where things have been lacking sexually. That's going to come to the surface now so that it can be purged, dealt with, you know, burnt down and then restored afterwards. So for those of you in sort of difficult sexual partnerships, there might be some tenseness, some conflict, some hurt and trauma that comes up first that needs to be dealt with before any blessing can follow on. So some of you Cancer people who've been through difficult sexual trauma in life, it might be very close to the surface this week. Forewarned, forearmed about that. Because this is a house of psychology and therapy, I would encourage you to invest in doing those things this week to deal with any issues that come to the surface regarding intimacy, woundings, and hurts that might be present. Thank you, my beautiful Cancer friends. All right, Leo rising, Leo sun, Leo moon people. The energy of, oh my gosh, all this intensity in Aquarius is impacting your 7th house. Now, what does this mean? Well, it means your relationships are going to be feeling emotional. They're going to be feeling very exciting, yes, but there's just full on. There's just so much stellium energy in the house of other people. So you're going to be feeling passionate and intense and even perhaps obsessive and overwhelmed about other people in your life. Watch out for the shadow sides of Pluto being, jealous, possessive, stalking, don't go into that, Leo. But you might also find that if you're in a partnership, that could be a business partnership, but more so a marriage or a committed union, that you are going to, you find that your partner is feeling this way. They're going to feel emotional. They're going to feel obsessive. They are going to feel passionate and desirous and full of, raging desire. So if it's not you, Leo, it's going to be, you'll see it in your partners. Your partner might be very interested in the occult as a result of all this energy in their 7th house, and Pluto particularly being the energy of focus. So, you've with somebody and they've never shown an interest in your astrology books before, and all of a sudden they've, you walk in one day and there they are sitting on the couch reading your astrology book. You're like, what are you doing? They're becoming interested in those occult activities represented by Pluto. So partners can discover new occult interests. Your partner's money might change this week, so their financial situation could go through a rebirthing process, or usually for the positive. Venus, Pluto. Venus is the ancient god of just prosperity and money generally, goddess, and Pluto is the ancient god of great wealth. So when these two conjunct, you might find, Leo, that your partner's money situation takes a big turnaround, is renewed, is reborn. So this could be quite exciting for your partners, of course. Also, I would suggest that for partners, taking a risk is a worthwhile thing to do. Particularly when Mars conjuncts Pluto, use that energy for the positive. It can bring about positive change. Now, there is a shadow side to this. Your partner, if they have been hurt by any of your actions or traumatized by any of your actions, that's going to come to the surface this week as well. So, this could be a business partner, and maybe, 3 weeks ago you did something and they kept their mouth shut, but they've been really annoyed by it. And lo and behold, on this week, that comes to the surface. It all comes spilling out with a great deal of passion. Like, you did this at work and now look where we're at with our business and I'm so frustrated. And there is wounding that's bubbling up here. Business partners, marriage partners. It could even be with a client or your audience, Leo. So as a Leo sun, I need to be careful about that. I hope I'm not offending anybody with the things I say. Sometimes that's just the case. Even when you're a Libra, you do end up offending people. It's how it goes. But anyhow, you might find out about some sort of wounding in somebody else in your life that has occurred. Maybe you've wounded them, or the other way around is that your partners might wound you. They could have conflict with you. They could say something that traumatizes you. So if that happens, you'll know where it's coming from, Leo. And you can be like, okay, I'm going to just take that with a grain of salt, because I know that this week's energy is crazy making when it comes to interactions with other people. Leo, you're going to feel that very intensely. Now, there can be higher level insights and revelations and truths that are revealed this week about partners. So something that may have been hidden can come out. Some secrets are revealed. That could be about how partners are using their money, and you suddenly, you find out they've been stashing things away in a shoebox in the back of the cupboard. There, lo and behold, there's thousands of dollars in a shoebox. Things that partners are doing regarding Venus things, love, Mars things too, passion, desire, money, pleasures can come out, and things can be revealed. The truth can be shown. Pluto does that. Pluto, like, he's the god of the underworld, and we often think, Pluto is secrets, and he is, but he's actually more invested in revealing secrets, showing us these underworld things, shining a light on these underworld, hidden, secret, dark things. So we might see some darkness in our partners that we didn't know was there. So be forewarned, forearmed about that, Leo. Now, this is also the house of agreements, alliances, contracts, commitments, promises, vows, all those things. And you might be feeling very emotional about those sorts of things, like emotional about some sort of vow that you make. You might be feeling very motivated to make a commitment, to sign a contract. Don't do it on the day when we've got this square from Pluto to Mercury. By all means, do not do it on that day. But you might be feeling very enthusiastic about creating a contract, or, getting involved in some sort of contractual situation. For some of you, some of you Leo people might even find that somebody proposes to you, someone offers you a commitment, as a result of this energy. This would particularly be the case, I think, if you have your descendant degree at 0 degrees of Aquarius. So some of you Leos might find that a contract, a passionate, desirous, obsessive contract is presented to you. Somebody wants you in their life permanently, and maybe you get proposed to. But that's kind of the energy that we're seeing that could be forming for many of our Leo friends this week. Thank you, Leo. Okay, Virgo rising, Virgo sun, and Virgo moon people. Okay, you're going to sit nice and still. Thank you, Virgo. This energy in Aquarius is forming in your 6th house. And so, as usual, when the sun goes through the 6th house, as it does every year, we get this area of our chart illuminated. And when there is a stellium in the 6th house, the same thing happens. We are really focused on 6th house things. Now, in the shadow side, that could be a victim mentality. Poor me, it's not fair, my life sucks, it's so hard. Try and avoid that sort of overwhelming emotionalism about how bad your life is and how hard you've been done by Virgo, because that's the lower vibration of all this stellium energy in the 6th house. Instead, this energy, it's better if it increases your motivation to make change, to perfect your life, and it certainly will do that. You're going to want to, get rid of your debts, get rid of health issues. You're going to be really inspired and enthused to, end some sort of obligatory situation, like a financial debt or a court case or something like that. You're going to want to really conclude those sorts of things, and you'll be motivated to do so. You'll take steps to end some sort of difficulty. This is a house of hard work and adversity, and you might be feeling very passionate about the level of hard work and adversity that you're experiencing. You might be seeking positive change to end all the hard work and adversity you've been experiencing. Mars is going to give you the enthusiasm. Venus is going to give you perhaps the financial means to do so. The passion to make change is very, very present. So let's say you've got a health issue. Well, Virgo, you might have been just listening to one person's opinion for the last 6 months about a health issue. Lo and behold, this energy forms in your 6th house, and you're like, that's it. I'm going to go to an alternative practitioner. Pluto, represents sort of a different way of looking at things. Pluto represents finding the truth. And so you might be like, I'm sick of the advice of that surgeon. I'm going to go to an acupuncturist. I'm going to go and see a psychologist. I'm going to go, see somebody else, like Pluto type people. You're going to be looking for new answers. You are motivated, Mars conjunct with Pluto earlier in the week, to find a change, to find a solution, to find a rebalancing of your life in whatever area it happens to be. So I encourage you to do so. I encourage you to look beyond the realm, the sphere that you've been in, to find answers and solutions for the difficulties of life. This is also the house of practical healing through practical means, healing through service, and you'll be very enthusiastic and even obsessive about healing your life practically. So that might mean, you really health conscious this week, and you purge yourself, from sugar or toxins or medicine or something like that. Maybe you're getting off some sort of drugs or something. This is an energy that can really help you to overcome that, because you're passionate and obsessive about the healing. So if you are somebody with issues and problems that have been self-inflicted, which this house represents, how we can sabotage ourselves through self-soothing behaviors like, addictions and drug addictions and things like that, problems like that. This could be the energy that helps you shake that off, get that monkey off your back and make that change, to purge that toxicity. The energy of Pluto here, and Pluto, remember, is going to be here for the next 20 years, is about burning things down and till they're ashes, and then helping things rise like the phoenix from the ashes. So really there's going to be a lot of healing going on in Virgo lives over the coming 20 years. It begins now. This is where you're going to manage problems, you'll fix problems, and it starts by burning those problems to the ground and then restoring your life balance in some way. So, there's going to be some practical things that unfold, maybe a change in diet that might come of this, change in exercise routine that might come of this. Something changes with your pets. This is a house of pets as well. There's a real sort of focus or illumination on purging and cleansing any toxicity in life, toxic people, toxic food, toxic lifestyles, whatever you are. It's all about changing those things this week, taking a risk, making positive change and being motivated to do so, to rebalance your life. There's also the energy of Pluto and Mars coming together to fight for something honorable or something that you're passionate about. And again, like I spoke about earlier with our Aries friends, this is similar in that you are going to want to fight for justice, for where things are out of balance in the world. Somebody doesn't receive enough education to get a good career, and you're going to be like, that's it. I'm going to speak up about this. I'm going to fight for the underdog. I'm going to get passionate about this imbalance in the world where people aren't getting enough education to get themselves out of poverty. Whatever it happens to be, you will be passionate and motivated to rebalance things that are out of balance in the world, especially in cases of where there's an underdog, So that's a great way to use this energy. And I began this little bit of the reading saying, get out of the victim mentality. And one of the best things we can do to burn our karma and get out of victim mentality is to look to help other people who are suffering. Great energy for doing that, and a great focus on doing that here in this house, my Virgo friends. All right, Libra rising, Libra sun, and Libra moon. Aren't you blessed, Libra? Woohoo! Like, you have all this energy, this stellium in your 5th house. This is where the focus is. It's all on love. It's all on good karma. It's all on children. And it's about putting passion and energy in those realms. So for many of you Librans, you might have a lot of romantic experiences this week, chances for joy. I mean, Valentine's Day this year is going to be fantastic for you Librans, can I just say, for most of you. There's a really heightened energy of romance here, but it could be almost to the point where it's overwhelming, Romance and sexual obsession is really high for our Libran friends. There could be, lots of opportunity for joy and excitement and happiness. This is the house of the fire of God, and here we've got the passionate planets all lining up together. So your joy, your exhilaration, your happiness and excitement at life could really increase. And what a wonderful thing. I'm happy to share that with my lovely Libran friends. This is the house of our talents and our genius, our true natural intelligence, the things we don't have to work hard at to be successful in. And so when we've got Pluto and Venus and Mars all in a conjunction, you might discover some new occult interests that just come naturally to you. You're working with the tarot cards and it's just like, positive answers or truth coming out all the time. You might find that there's higher level insights and revelations and truths that are revealed to you just naturally and innately. You just know. You have this inner knowledge and wisdom and knowing that's really at the surface this week, Librans. You might find that if there's any imbalances or injustice in the lives of your children or your lovers, then you have the passion to help resolve those issues for those loved ones in your life. because Mars is here, empowered by Pluto. You're willing to fight for your children. You're willing to fight for your lover, passionately. You want to get in there and help fix problems. Mars loves to fix problems, and you'll be really enthused about fixing problems in the lives of children and lovers as well. Now, this is also a house of taking a risk. And here with Mars conjunct Pluto, it is a great thing to sort of step out of your comfort zone and maybe take a risk in some way. Do something that you wouldn't ordinarily do. Speak to someone you wouldn't ordinarily speak to. Take an opportunity that's presented you that otherwise in other circumstances you might have let pass you by. This is a powerful time for taking a risk and seeing the benefit pay off. You'll be motivated to try these new things. Mars with Pluto, and the blessing can really come to you. This is the house of your creative intelligence. I mean, Libra, you're going to be full of ideas this week. You'll be, coming up with all sorts of solutions and, perhaps some sort of creative endeavors. The level of production that Libran people will be coming out with, it will be really fantastic. It's like my design of my astro wheel, I feel, was a very fifth house creative thing. So you might be coming up with similar kinds of concepts, design a new astro wheel, or coming up with some sort of wonderful fashion show that you want to present, Libra, or you just a really fabulous idea for a new movie that you want to produce. Like, your ideas, your creative output, your creative ideas will be really inspired and really empowered because of this energy. Now, because this house does pertain to children and lovers, you might find that your children and lovers are sort of full of emotionalism, a bit sensitive this week. Things that usually wouldn't bother them might just trigger them exponentially. So be aware of that. Be kind, be gracious when you see that playing out. Your children might be experiencing some sort of romantic or sexual desire from other people in their lives. Children might be, I don't know, if you've got 20-year-old children, they might find that, in worst case scenario, that there's somebody in their life stalking them or sending them text messages, and they're like, go away, I'm not interested in you, kind of thing. They might be the recipients of some sort of romantic or sexual obsession, people that are jealous or possessive of them and that kind of thing. So if you're a parent watching your children, your older children I'm kind of referring to here, do be sure to be there for your children in whatever way you can. Your lover, Libra, might be very filled with desire for you, very emotional about their love for you this week. You might find that they're really full on, and even like lovers can be the source of very positive relationship occurrences. Unexpected sort of romance could be on the cards from your lovers this week. I think I've already alluded to that. What else can we see? This is the house of playing games. And so with so much sexual energy, like my friends who are Librans, there could be a lot of sexual fun and games to be played this week. The fifth house does have connection to sexual enjoyment. The eighth house is our sexuality and intimacy, but this house is the house of the fun that we have. And so for many Librans, you're in for a good time with sex this coming week, my Libran friends. Wowee. The final thing I want to mention is that this is a very blessed house. The fifth house is the house that the first house trines. It also trines the ninth house, but the fifth house is a house of good karma, a house of blessing, a house of luck. So taking a risk can really pay off and give you some lucky break. And also this is really a chance where things can go your way this week. Now, that's not the case for everybody because it is a rather full-on energy in Aquarius, but for Librans, luck can be on your side this week. Things can just work out. Things just, like a cat with 9 lives, things go your way. Even if things end or are burnt down in some way in your life, you will just almost immediately rise up into a new, better opportunity. Let's say you lose a job. because this is the 8th house from the 10th, Libra. So 10th house is here. 8 houses could mean some crisis occurs with career. If that happens, almost instantly you'll have another job to go to, or there will be some sort of opportunity for you to rise into your own empowerment, like your own business or side hustle is blessed to be able to support you, that kind of thing. So, really there is a great opportunity for a lot of luck and blessing to come your way. And it's the house of what we love and the things we love. So this week we're going to be really feeling in tune with Venus things. Maybe we love making money this week and we make a lot of it. Maybe we love, sweet decadent food this week. Be careful, my Libran friends. You might get an opportunity for chocolate cake every single day. Like, be careful, watch that figure. But the things that we love, Venus is like delicious, sensual experiences, food, the things we touch, taste, see, hear, and smell. Mars is passion, desire. Mars is our vitality. Like, we are going to just love the things that trigger our vitality. We're going to love playing sports. We're going to love eating chocolate cake. We're going to love all these Venus-Mars things. Can be very prominent in our experience. I am very glad to be a Libra and Moon person this week. We will touch base next week and see what happened, but it looks good to me. Thank you, Libra. Scorpio rising, Scorpio sun, and Scorpio moon people. Wow, there's a real intensity of energy in the 4th house. And because it's an angular house, Scorpio, there is a greater level of intensity. Whenever anything is angular, it's much more powerful in its manifestation. So for our Scorpio friends, looks like it's all happening down in the 4th house. Now, this could indicate some sort of emotionalism that is coming to the surface regarding your family or the way you're parenting. There could be some very strange or unexpected sort of occurrences and situations with family members. This could be your ancestral line, or it could be you as a parent with your intimate, like immediate family. So there could be a lot of emotionalism that comes to the surface, a lot of passion, and some very unexpected events that take place, Scorpio. One thing, though, is you're going to be very motivated about interacting with your family. Hopefully, if you've got difficulties with family, this also motivates you to heal any difficulties, any animosity that you've got with family. This is really putting the spotlight on any conflict or hurt or trauma that's been caused in family dynamics. So there can be healing of that through this energy, or there can be a bringing of those things to the surface. They're not going to be able to be swept under the rug anymore. This is an energy for focusing on those things, whether healing results or not. They're going to be at the forefront. So in some instances, it will mean that you confront a parent or you confront a family member about some sort of traumatizing event or something, and it's resolved and it's healed and there's forgiveness. For some people, that will happen where that incident comes up between you and it causes a split and it causes a separation. It causes the burning down. Pluto is to destroy. There's a destruction of a relationship with a family member because of that. Could go either way. This is conjunctions. They're a mixed bag in how they play out. The 4th house is all about our sense of safety, security, stability, and belonging. This is not an energy for feeling solid, I think for many of you Scorpio people, there could be some volatility with regard to home, with regard to family situations and domestic life. The way things have always been may not be how they continue on after February. So be forewarned about that. Some of you it could be simply, you realize that your house is just too damn small and you're going to have to do a renovation. Pluto is renovating. Mars is to use tools. Venus is to make things more beautiful. It could just be simply that's what's going on. You decide, that's it. My garden is the ugliest garden on the street. I've got to get out there and do something about it. So, you get into it. You're motivated. You're enthusiastic. You're passionate about making a change to your home environment or the way your domestic life runs or your garden, that kind of thing. So it could be as simple as that. There's enthusiasm and passion for that kind of thing. Some of you might be looking to invest your money under this energy in properties, homes, Airbnbs, hospitality, that kind of stuff. And you might be looking at running a business from home because of this. You might take a risk. Mars is to take a risk in, taking on a family business or establishing some home-based business of your own. In that sense, it could be very exciting for you as you try something new. But with Mars-Pluto conjunctions, often risk-taking can pay off. Just, you've got to be careful about the motivations. If I'm running a business from home, how's that going to impact my family? Am I going to be sort of railroading my family and their ability to have a happy, safe home space? Generally, I don't think in this house there's too much to worry about, but certainly you'll be enthused about going down that road if that's something you've been thinking about for a while. Just be careful. This is a house of our emotional state, and the emotional energy of all these 5 planets in the house of emotions, it's just going to be so intense. So intense. So some of you Scorpio people might be experiencing a bit of anxiety or depression or sadness because it's just overwhelm. Too much overwhelm in the emotions right now. So have some strategies to rest, to relax, to limit stress, have a healthy diet, get anything toxic out of your environment, and take care of you so that you can cope with the high level of emotionality or emotional overwhelm that the transits of February might bring your way. Thank you, Scorpio. Okay, Sagittarius. Sagittarius rising, sun or moon. Typical Sagittarius, you want to go for a walk. Let me just slow you down a bit there. Okay, we've got 5 planets in your 3rd house, Sagittarius. This is where a lot of the all the focal energy is going to be pretty much for the rest of February. There's just such an intensity going on here. But it's good energy, I feel, in the 3rd house because it's going to give you a lot of motivation, especially motivation to move with life. Now, I have a very dear friend who says, one of the key things to succeeding in life is just to keep moving. Don't let yourself get stuck. If you feel stuck, make a change. See what that does. If it doesn't do anything, then make another change. So this is a house of restlessness. So for many Sagittarius people, you're going to be motivated to make change and keep that energy moving and try new things, bring in new experiences. So that, to my mind, is a good thing. It's going to keep you moving, Sagittarius. This could be that, maybe you take a short trip, see a new place, or it could be that you try a new skill set or go and meet a new people, do a new workshop. Those sorts of things are great to do under this energy, and you're going to be very motivated to do so. And if it feels a bit risky, like, I don't know anybody in that workshop group, should I go in? And well, yes, you should take a risk because Mars with Pluto means that risk taking pays off. You might meet new networks, create new friends, learn new skills. It's a great time for stepping out of your comfort zone. So in that sense, really, really good. This is a house of bravery, actually, in very traditional astrology. Bravery in our mental narrative. So this is the house is all about bravery in our mental narrative, but so much energy here can give us a sense of mental overwhelm. So we might be, be careful of taking on more than you can handle. I would just encourage you, Sagittarius, to respect your mental narrative right now. Like, help, what am I trying to say here? Get enough rest, avoid stress, take care of the way you're thinking, because you're going to want to just run. Your mental narrative with so much energy in the 8th house is really switched on, and it can mean that you have trouble sleeping, your mind won't stop, it's just go, and you're going down every little rabbit hole that presents itself with your thoughts. And so I would have some sort of strategies. What do they call it? Mindfulness, maybe chanting, meditation, to just still the mind, calm the mind, and avoid that overload that all this energy can sometimes bring about. This is the house of our relatives and our siblings. So a lot of the energy of Mars and Venus conjunct with Pluto this week might be actually affecting our siblings more than it's affecting us. Our siblings might be feeling very emotional. Our relatives might be full of romantic obsession, perhaps. We might even find that our siblings or our relatives or our neighbors suddenly become interested in some sort of occult topics and occult practices. Our relatives and siblings might be looking at starting new side hustles. This is the house of our businesses that we create through our own skills and talents and abilities. So we might be very much pursuing a lot of those things, new skills, new talents. You might find that your sister has signed up for violin lessons or something like that because she is inspired to do something new with her skills and talents. Maybe a sibling decides they're going to teach piano because they want to use their talent or their skill in their service business-wise. So quite an exciting time in that regard. Now, you could be also, Sagittarius, a bit obsessive or enthusiastic and motivated to use your skills and talents as well. It's the house of our cultivated talents, not the things that come easy to us innately, but more the things that we need to develop. It's an upachai house. It means things that get talents and skills that we develop and improve with time. So, you might have been studying some musical instrument yourself, and now you're at a point where you can start using that skill and that talent to your advantage, perhaps to make more money. Venus is here in the third house. Or maybe you've been doing some sort of martial arts or something, and you can put that to good use and develop your own small business with your martial arts skills or talents. So these kinds of things. This is a house of skills and talents. It's a house of small business, and there's just such an energy focus here. It's really calling you to perhaps look at these opportunities and maybe take a risk and get out of your comfort zone by pursuing those things. What else is happening here? Well, this is the house that speaks, it's all about the messages from the gods in ancient times, the third house. And so you might be, with all this intensity here, receiving some sort of higher level insights, revelations, or truth, particularly regarding Venus and Mars things. How you're using your money, how you're making your money, your ability to survive into the future with the money that you've got. Venus things, or maybe you're receiving some sort of insight about the food that you eat, the diet that you have. Venus rules those things as well. Maybe you're receiving insight about your muscular strength and your vitality, Mars. And so those messages that come through can lead you to make changes in your life, renovate your life in some way regarding those Venus and Mars things that I've just mentioned. So that's really what I'm feeling into for our Sagittarius friends. A lot of you might be undertaking new workshops, meeting new people, making new connections, or doing some sort of significant marketing and advertising or writing this week. Putting something on social media and getting a lot of traction for it, being empowered by what you're sharing online. This is the house that has to do with social media and marketing and advertising. So it's a great week for putting up a YouTube video or doing a post on social media, and it proving empowering for you thanks to Pluto and his conjunction with these two planets. Alrighty, finally now Capricorn rising, sun or moon people. Thank you for waiting till last, my beautiful Capricorn friends. This week, the focus is on your second house. There's a high level of energy intensity there. And of course, the second house has to do with what we need to live in terms of the material realm, our food, our shelter, our clothing, basically our resources for living, anything valuable. And so you are going to feel very passionate about obtaining a level of material security in your life this week. If you haven't got a level of material security, Capricorn, which is highly unlikely. A lot of Capricorns that usually do very well for themselves in life. But if you don't, then you're going to be almost obsessive with creating it. How can you create more material security? And you can take a risk to create that, and it will generally pay off because of the Mars-Pluto conjunction. So, you step out of your comfort zone. Maybe you buy a piece of artwork that you hope is going to, increase in value over time, and you take that risk. Likely it will pay off. Okay, that's one example. This is also because Venus is making a conjunction with Pluto. Venus is the goddess of money. Pluto is the god of great wealth. Here in the house of our resources, it is possible for some Capricorn people to come into some material blessing or benefit or opportunity this week. So keep your eyes and ears peeled, Capricorn, because something is likely to cross your path that could prove very lucrative for you down the track, particularly later in the week, I feel more so. You might find that you have a passion for something new, like a new artist that you discover, or a new restaurant that you find. Mars is passion, Venus is art and music and culture and food. And so you might find that you have this new passion for this wonderful chef at this restaurant, and you're just telling everybody about it, and you're just motivated to go there once a week or every day even and enjoy their fabulous food. So you can become almost obsessive about these things, this artist, this restaurant, whatever it happens to be. We can be a bit obsessive, but we're motivated and we're passionate about second house things. Be careful, because sometimes Mars-Pluto can indicate self-destructive behaviors, and this is the house of spending. You might be like spending money left, right, and center like there's no tomorrow. And when you get to tomorrow, there's no money. So, be careful that you don't sort of overdo it and then end up burning things down materially. That's Pluto is going to really teach you a lot about money and resources over the next 20 years, my friends, and it could all start this week. So act with caution and wisdom about how and where you're spending your money. It's going to be very interesting 20 years for Capricorn people, because they are so materially oriented to create security for themselves, and Pluto is going to turn things upside down. So yeah, check out, if you haven't already done so, Capricorn, check out my Pluto through the second house video and find out a little more about what this next 20-year period has in store for you in that regard. You might be if you're a woman, you might find that it's worthwhile to go visit a beautician under this energy this week. You'll be happy with the results that you get from some sort of beautician or nail technician, somebody who, maybe does like Pluto with surgery, some sort of laser therapy or injectables and that kind of thing. They can go well. The second house also has to do with our voice, and you might, with such a heavy lot of energy here, you might be using your voice in some way, like sharing your passions, sharing vocally, speaking up about something. And of course, Mars is here with Pluto, so you might be fighting for something that you're righteously passionate about with your voice. Maybe you put out a YouTube video about something that is of concern to you. Maybe you're speaking to a group. Maybe you're giving a lecture. This is the use of our voice regarding something that we're passionate about, something that we need to defend or we want to fight for. So in that sense, it can be really good. Some of you might, Capricorn people, might be seeking to rebalance any injustices in the material realm, like the unequal distribution of resources, which of course in our current global situation is a terrible problem. And many of you Capricorn people, and this will be the higher vibrational level of Capricorn people for sure, will be standing up for, taking a stand for rebalancing that injustice in the world, seeking to find ways to bring, more equality to our world in terms of who has and who does not the resources for living good, happy lives. So there can be some very strange but generally positive occurrences that happen, unexpected occurrences with your things, your stuff, Maybe, I don't know, maybe you've always been looking for that, I don't know, one Royal Albert dinner plate to complete your collection, and you just happen to be out for lunch one day and look, there it is in a shop, and you're like, wow, that's going to complete my collection. So this is a house of collecting things, and when I say strange but positive occurrences, this is the kind of thing that can happen. You unexpectedly find, you know, something to complete your collection, or you know, a new way to make money through the resources that you have, or a new way to use your voice in a manner you'd never thought about before. So these kind of things can be what all this intensity in the 11th house, the second house, is all about. You are likely to get a lot of insights into how you're spending your money and ways to change it. So it's a really good week, Capricorn, for revisiting a budget, revising how you spend money, and you know, resetting your goals materially in life in some way. And that's what I'm feeling into for all the signs this week. Thank you for joining me. I hope it is a wonderful week ahead for you and that you enjoy what is to come. I look forward to sharing another astro report with you next week.